everyone, Tia here with Gypsyfae Creations. Thanks for tuning in. I am back with another Halloween soap, and it's reminiscent of a soap that I made a really long time ago, the Jurassic Park soap, and it had like different layers and like bones and earth things in it. I don't know. I wanted to take that concept and you know, kind of put it inside of a Halloween soap with, again, the glow-in-the-dark mica that I used in the previous video. I want to use that in all of my Halloween soaps. So let's make a graveyard tombstone soap today. Also, really busy time of the year for Bradley and I. We are doing a lot of exploring. We've got birthdays and concerts and all kinds of fun things coming up. We are at a apple picking orchard today, and we've just got done picking like a huge bag of apples. I can't wait to bake things with them. Also, we are going to be doing other adventures up in Pennsylvania. You're going to be hearing me talk a lot about Pennsylvania. And if you're interested, stay tuned after the video because I want to include all of the fun things that we get into today. But for now, let's get soap making. So let's start with the base layer. I am only making a small 3-pound mold of this. A lot of the Halloween soaps I'm making are going to be in these small loaves. And let's get started. We're going to mix up the oils that are at room temperature. I've got some coconut, some castor, shea, cocoa butter, some canola, and some palm in there. Also added some buttermilk powder and some kaolin clay for extra additives into the soap, and some sodium lactate so that things have, sodium lactate helps with releasing it from the mold easier. It hardens the soap a little bit, creates a longer lasting bar, and I really like to incorporate that into all of my soap. So let's mix this together. Alright, so I got everything just to the point of emulsification. Because I'm doing layers in this soap, I really want this to stay fluid so that it is easier to pour and work with. Alright, so I'm going to set this to the side. And I'm going to start with the first layer. Random color, I know. I want to do like a gray on the bottom, and then I thought maybe of doing some light brown and like dark brown layers in there. So we'll see how that goes. Fragrance that I picked out, I've got some Black Magic by Nature's Garden. I have a hard time differentiating between Nature's Soap and Nature's Garden. I don't know why that is. It is a magical blend of earthy sandalwood, ylang ylang, baby powder, patchouli, and vanilla. So I thought that would be appropriate for this soap. So I'm just going to pour off some of this into one bucket. Just a little bit for that first bottom layer. And then I'm going to add some titanium dioxide to it. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of activated charcoal because I want it a gray color. Oh, that's like nothing. I want like a gray color, not black, but just a little bit of gray. So let's mix that up and see what it looks like. That looks perfect. And then I'm going to scrape this out. I'm going to add the fragrance, and then I'm going to pour the first layer into the mold. Alright, so I'm going to put... Hello! Alright, let's pour in this first layer here. Scrape this out. It's going to be very similar to that Jurassic Park soap I did, if I'm lucky. Alright, so I'm going to give that a little tap and make sure everything is level. And we'll work on the next layer. which is going to be, I think I'm just going to color this whole thing. We'll just do that. That's fine. Try and get all that out of there. Okay, back to this guy. So I'm going to start with some, I think it's Elite clay. I don't know how to say that, but I got this in a mystery package from Wholesale Supplies Plus. And I thought clay and dirt, it makes sense, right? And clays are really good for your skin as well. So let's just add some of that. I've also got some brown oxide, which makes for a really pigmented soap. So I'm just gonna add just a little bit of that in there. Get that dirt color. And we're gonna mix this up. Maybe I did break my kitchen vibrator. Please. I did. I'm gonna glue that. Look, I dropped it and I broke it. Oh, Bradley's gonna be so mad at me. We're gonna glue it back together though. Looks like chocolate. Alright, so I'm gonna put in my embeds in here to make it look like if you were to take a graveyard, it's kind of disturbing if you really think about it, but if you take a graveyard and you cut it down the middle and the things you would see in the layers, and I'm thinking like different layers of the Earth's crust and some bones. So I have some random little pieces of just soap embeds that I never used, leftover icings that I've just plopped onto a piece of wax paper and cut up, and then I piped a whole bunch of these bones out of leftover icing that I'll throw in there as well. Let's add our fragrance and mix that up. So this is not supposed to discolor, but in this case, if it did, it's okay because it's a brown soap and I wouldn't get my feelings all hurt about it. So I'm going to pour in the first layer of this, and then I'm going to add a little bit of titanium dioxide to it and just kind of lighten it up for the next layer. So let's put in a handful of these random things in here, like so. Mix them in. And they're just going to be randomly throughout the loaf, and then when I cut into it, you're going to cut into little white pieces that might look like the bone. That's so wrong. Fossils sound better than bones, I think. Alright, so pour in about that much. Wipe down my side here. Add a couple more of these things in here, like so. And then we'll pour in a little bit more. Down the side, okay. And then I'm going to add the titanium dioxide to this. Just a little bit. I'm going to mix that in because now that I have those pieces in there, I can't stick blend it. So we're going to hope we don't get glycerin rivers on this. And then we're going to keep pouring. Might add just a little bit more. Alright, so Bradley and I went to a wedding in York, PA. It's some cousins I haven't seen in like 20 years. I got invited to it, and I thought it'd be really nice just to reconnect. And since it was in York, PA, which is only about an hour away from us, I thought it would be cool to find out, you know, what's on the way to this wedding. What can we get into on the way up? More of these little pieces. I'm going to save some of these bones for the top. I don't know why I piped all of these. I could have just, you're not going to see them. Alright. Pour some of this in. And PA is just a wonderful place to visit in the fall because there's so much up there. It's a huge state. It gets really pretty in the fall, and there's just a lot of like farms and fun things to do in the autumn. Right, stick in a couple more of these pieces. Like that. And so when I was doing some research, you know, we didn't have a lot of time. The wedding was at 2, and that was like, are we actually going to get up in time to leave and, you know, get into something beforehand? We left the house by like 9:30. An hour drive, wasn't that bad. I've always wanted to do apple picking. To me, that just screams fall. Like, there's nothing more fall than apple picking. And so I found a place that was probably 20 minutes away from the venue, and that was like, that's what we're doing. We're gonna go apple picking. All right, let's get the rest of this in here. I'm gonna scrape this down, and then I'm going to get the top together. And for those embeds, I've got some tombstones that I made out of soap dough, and I've got some glow-in-the-dark skeleton hands to go on top, and then we'll stick more of these bones in there as well. So let me get that top together. Alright, so I've dug my grave, and now I'm going to put it on a grassy hill. I think that's what I'm going for here. So I've got some green soap batter that I'm just going to mound up on here and shape into a hill. It's not going to stay this color. This is just what greens do when you're soaping, so ignore the funky green. I'm just going to start with that and see if I can get that shaped up. Alright, so the apple orchard that we went to was called Brown's Orchard, and they have lots of different fruit that you can go pick, and it just so happened that apples were in season because it's fall. Not much else is going to be in season, so we had 2 different kinds of apples to choose from, and that was good enough for me. So they also have a little market there, like fresh produce and pumpkins and pit beef, and just a cute little country store with all kind of gifts in it, and foods and snacks and garden things, and it was just like a paradise for me, because when I walk into places like that, I just want to buy one of everything. So I didn't. I bought a few things, and when we first walked in, there was about 3 or 4 buses that came up from Baltimore to drop them off at this place because they were heading to the York Fair, which I had never heard of. I think it goes on for a week. It's kind of like a state fair. And the woman who worked at the market told me, don't ever come at the last Thursday of this month, because that is when the York Fair is, and it's one of the oldest fairs. It's the first fair in America, and it was like first hosted in 1765, I think. So that was kind of our mistake. So we made a decision. I'm like, all right, we're just going to leave and we're going to come back because I can't do this. The line was huge. There were just people everywhere, and I was not enjoying myself. So we left, and we took a short little drive down the street where the orchards were. They have a 100-acre farm, which I thought was really cute. And you just tell them what size you know, basket or bag that you want to fill, and it's a price. We paid $25, and we got like 25 or 30 apples. So I don't know, it wasn't that bad of a price, but the fact that you get to go pick out the ones that you want, it's really cool. It'd be good for like a family event, or just if you're into fall. I suggest go apple picking. Nothing better than a fresh picked apple, and you can just bring them home and they're good to go. There's no preservatives or waxes on them, and you get to pick them out. You get to pick them right off the tree. Not everyone can do that. Alright, I'm just making a mess here. We got to pick Gala apples and Honeycrisp apples, and they're so good. They really are. I can't wait to bake stuff with them. I don't know what I'm going to bake with them yet, but I'm sure I'll find lots of Pinterest ideas. All else fails, I just go on Pinterest, and you find everything on there. You really can. Alright. What else did we find? There was lots of different fruits that they had for sale, and one of these things that we saw was called a Kiwi Berry, and I had never heard of this. It looks like a green berry, but it tastes like a kiwi, and it looks like a kiwi on the inside. It was quite unusual, and Bradley didn't like them. I ate one that wasn't ripe yet, so that was my fault. I didn't read the instructions on the front that tell you that when they are ripe, they're going to be slightly mushy or slightly soft with a little bit of wrinkle on them. But once I ate one that did get to the ripeness, it was actually pretty good. It tasted just like a kiwi, but without that furry skin on it, and it's just like a little berry size. It was really cool. Do I think I'd ever buy them again? Not really. Not really. Not worth the price. I'll just have a real kiwi. Just had to try it, you know. Alright, I'm just trying to mound this all up and get it to look like the hill in my head. So I'm going to just keep playing with this. Fairly happy with that, so I'm just going to make some like smeary designs in here, kind of get a grass feel to it, I suppose, some kind of texture. This, I'll make it look like a grassy hill. Alright, so let's put our embeds on here. Alright, let's start with the tombstone, shall we? Let's go with this one first. Trying to really get them to stand up in there. I think I need to put the hands in there as well. I want to do this. So I kind of thought it out, but then I kind of didn't think it out. Just not, when you're not working with a lot of space, it's hard to get everything to fit on here that you want. So we'll just do that. And be really careful when I cut this. And then put the next hand on there. Alright, keep going here. They had some local cider that was being presented. They had some wine at this orchard place, so we were just like, so many decisions. What do we do? Came home with a case of different ciders and a bottle of wine, and then we're like, all right, well, we got to get going. Let's make one more stop. We drove over to York, which is like 10 minutes north of the orchard, and we found a place called Central Market, and it had a lot of like different shops in there and vendors. You can get like art, and they had whiskey and wine and beer and food, and there was just so much to offer in this. It's like a little indoor market, so it was really neat. I was happy we got to find that place and do a little walk around. We had some barbecue there that was really good, and it was really unusual because it was egg rolls. They were egg rolls stuffed with pulled pork and what was the other one? Philly cheesesteak. There was a Philly cheesesteak stuffed egg roll. It was delicious. Let me think about this I want to make sure everything is lined up correctly here. Everything's where I want it to be. It looks a little funny because I turn the end pieces around so that when it gets cut, you get to see the right side of the soap, if that makes any sense. Alright, and then for the final touch, I'm just going to add all these little bones all over the place here, and they'll probably get cut in the end, but it's okay. They're not going to be perfectly shaped bones, they're just going to be pieces. Once we left the market, we had a few minutes to just kind of walk around, take a look at York and see what else was around, and as we're doing that, my flip-flop broke. So I didn't want to walk around without a shoe on, and it was kind of impossible to walk around with half a flip-flop on. And we ended up having to go back to the car, and luckily I had brought a change of shoes because again I was going to a wedding, so I got really lucky there. Later on, my friend texted me a tip that I did not think about doing until afterwards, because you know, you hear all these like crazy ideas of things to do, like MacGyver if something happens. I've seen like bread clips and flip-flops, and I was like, well, I don't have a bread clip and it isn't that kind of flip-flop. She said take a hair tie. Take a hair tie and put it around your toes. So that way you make your own little flip-flop with the bottom of the shoe and the hair tie. And I was so mad. I was like, why didn't I think of that? Or why didn't you tell me that sooner? I was walking around like an idiot with a flip-flop hanging off of my shoe. It was quite a scene. I laughed at the whole time though. So if you guys ever have that and you have a hair tie, put it around your shoe and make a faux shoe. If you're ever in that situation, you're welcome. Alright, so I'm gonna let this sit for 24, maybe 48 hours, and then I'll come back to cut it. See how the green, that color turned back to what it was? It was like a poopy green before. Alright, so I've never unmolded this on camera, so I thought I would do that. If you ever have trouble with unmolding your soaps, you can just stick them in the freezer for like 15 minutes, and it releases them a lot better. Hey, it's raining! No surprise there. Alright, we're good with that. Now let's cut into this morbid soap. Alright.
Your mold whacked me.
Oh, this is exciting. I know I'm gonna cut a whole bunch of embeds on it.
Better not.
Look, I'm starting to already.
Take your time.
Let me make sure this is the right measurement on here. So usually I cut like an inch, and that's an inch. So what? Oh my goodness.
Might have to do go just under.
I'm just turning it
Different
around
side.
and ignoring that side for a second because that's what I like to do. Alright, this guy's gonna lose a finger.
There goes his finger.
He doesn't need it, he's dead.
Yeah, that's okay.
And they're really tall, so I have to be careful there too. Oh hey, look at that.
Look at that, it reminds me of something.
Look at that Jurassic Park soap I did a long time ago.
That Jurassic Park.
Look, that one even kind of looks like a bone.
Sure does. That's cool.
Cool.
I like it.
Alright. Cut a couple more. And it smells very earthy too. Look at this guy.
I think you're gonna have to cut a little more. Okay.
Good, okay. I'm just gonna knock a few tombstones down. Alright. Alright, so you're probably seeing this on a Monday, which means Thursday is my birthday, and I don't usually do videos on Thursdays, so I'm going to this one because it's my birthday. And I had asked for some advice of what soap to do for my birthday. Are you going to yell at me? What am I doing?
You give me anxiety when you cut these soaps.
Well, good. The choices for my birthday soap, that one's not so special.
Just nothing.
He's kind of boring, but he's an NP, so maybe I'll do a giveaway.
There you go.
We'll find some
They're
use for him.
very tall as well.
Yeah. So for my birthday, the choices that I wanted to do were either like a cupcake or a fancy cake slice.
Ooh, fancy cake.
Or a gemstone, because it's my birthday. I thought sapphire, and gemstone won.
Ooh.
Need to put some more bones in here.
There you go. I got some
You get the
more.
point, though.
Yeah.
And that is what Thursday's video is going to be.
Gemstone.
Gemstones, yes.
Very good.
So thank you everyone who participated in that. Got this.
I think you got it, yeah.
Alright, there we go.
You got some tall soaps.
Yeah.
You do need a different, I think,
This one,
like a
this one-
taller
yeah.
cutter, I think, eventually.
I really do like those little tombstones. I did a good job on those.
You did too.
And I like the different layers of dirt.
Dirt.
Dirt. Alright, so Halloween soap release is going to be on October 20th. If you're interested in getting your hands on one of these. Yeah, okay. That's a good one.
There you go, yeah.
Cool beans.
Perfect.
And then the hands are going to glow in the dark. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, you can give it a thumbs up. If you are new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe. Any questions or comments? Luke, why are you trying to lay in the tripod? That is like the worst possible place to lay. Excuse my dog. Questions or comments, guys, leave them in the comment section down below. I love hearing from you all. And until next time, have a very nice day and smell you later. So this little store they have, I just want to buy one of everything. I'm a sucker for flavored coffees.
I don't think we're gonna have time for that.
Coffee pie coffee and beans. I'm getting this one and I'm put it on apples. All this cool stuff.
What is this?
Had a moonshine jelly. the weirdest stuff they have in here. Like I could buy all
I can't
of
even
this.
imagine what moonshine jelly would taste like. I'm not gonna
Does it
imagine.
have real moonshine in it?
I don't know. Let's find out.
Super cute chrome. I kind of want to buy that.
Like a shiny flavor.
And Brade really wants to buy that.
Oh, he's coming home.
Oh, is he? Maybe look. Got all that stuff. I love it all.
Get closer.
Alright, so there's this group that I know of in Maryland. I know that, you know, it's a big thing in Maryland. I don't know about other states, but it's called Painted Rocks of MD, or Painted Rocks of Maryland. And lots of artistic people get these nice size rocks and they paint pretty pictures of them and they hide them all over the state and then different other states. You can hide them anywhere you want. You can even keep them. And I'm just walking along this Brown's orchard and I found this in the dirt. It was like, it was this side up. You can see on there it says Facebook, go to that Facebook page, you can take a picture of it and post it, you can keep it, you can re-hide it. It even has like a cute little painting of the apple orchard on it. And I can't believe I found it, because it's in the place that that people aren't even going in, and I don't know how they didn't run it over with the lawnmower, but it was just like face down like that in the grass, and I found it. I'm so happy because honestly I've never found one of these, but I've heard of them. I've hit some of my own, and I'm like really excited to find one. Yay! So we came home with some treasures. Bradley insisted on getting this guy. Super adorable. He thinks it's a beer mug. I say it's a vase because it has like these little weird things on the bottom of them. He wants to use it as a beer vase. Sure, it's a beer vase. I'll still put flowers in it when he's not using it. And then they have this local cider and brewery place that was near the orchard we went to, and the rep that was there said they have like a restaurant and whatnot. And I think we're gonna have to go there one day because these bottles of cider are absolutely adorable. We had to get a box of them. Even the caps have like cute little boxes on them, and that's so cute. Look at the little people. We did get a whole bunch of apples. We got, I didn't even count them, but they are really delicious. And of course the caramel apple nut butter that Bradley didn't realize was $15 until we got to the register, but kind of worth it. You know, you only live once. And then I've got some strawberry wine because I can't go to a place and not come home with a bottle of wine, especially a local wine that you can't get, you know, at the liquor store right down the street. And it's strawberry wine, and it makes me think of that country song by Dina Carter, Strawberry Wine. So I will be sitting on the back porch drinking that, enjoying the last bit of summer weather. So that is what we came home with today. And I'm going to be baking a whole bunch of things with these apples, I think. I haven't come up with what I'm going to bake, but it'll be something yummy.